Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Close to the Edge. And the reason why many people can be feeling a little close to the edge in the next week is because it's going to be a bad news, good news week. And that is what can drive people a little bit close to the edge. The edge of what? Well, the edge of sanity, actually. So a lot of people can be worried right now about things, and that is not because of them. It's because there can be matters that are not in their control, and they can be affecting them, or they can be worried about them for their future. And that is because Mercury has gone direct now, so communications should be clearing up. In fact, there's only one retrograde planet now, and that is Jupiter in Leo. But the heavens are unbalanced right now, and the reason why is that there are 10 planets up there. 9 of them are only in one half of your chart in consecutive signs. There is the Moon in Scorpio, Saturn in Sagittarius, Pluto in Capricorn, the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius, and then there is Neptune, Venus, and Mars in Pisces, and Uranus in Aries. Those are the 9 planets on one side of your chart, and then the 10th planet is that Jupiter in Leo on the other side of the chart. So the planets are not evenly balanced right now, and that can cause a tremendous emphasis in one area of your life and then there can be nothing going on in another area of your life. And so that can cause people to get a little uptight. One of the reasons that could occur is because there are 3 planets in Pisces which rules things behind the scenes, and they are Neptune, Venus, and Mars. That Mars in particular is, in fact, all 3 of those planets are squaring Saturn in Sagittarius, which rules the courts, higher education. It certainly rules all international dealings and people in foreign countries, and it rules the high moral ground that people adhere to in following their different religions. So it means that the things that try to establish and maintain civilization are coming up against perhaps evil forces behind the scenes that want to challenge that and do things their own way, and perhaps in a cruel or vindictive or jealous or greedy way. And then Neptune and Venus are also in Pisces. Neptune is a very nebulous planet. It's the ruler of the sign. But when it is squaring Saturn, it means that some people can be kidding themselves or can be in denial about conditions in their life that are overtaking their lives. And also when Venus is squaring Saturn, it indicates betrayal. So that could drive people a little bit close to the edge this week, all of those different threatening or challenging situations. And then there is the fact that Pluto is in Capricorn, a sturdy earth sign representing authority figures in corporations or government agencies, and it is harshly squaring Uranus in Aries, which rules freedom and rebellion. And since Aries is a pioneering sign, it can rule people that don't want to listen to anybody. They just want to do things their way. And yet, people who are in authority are not going to allow any kind of rebellion or instability if they can help it, once again to preserve civilization. And so they may want to crush a rebellion, or it can simply be that they will dismiss people who are very unstable. This could occur in your workplace. It could occur anywhere where people are being extremely unstable and therefore threatening the status quo in a way that can threaten mankind or civilization. And that can drive people a little bit to the edge right now. There's also 4 planets in the fixed signs, And that can be causing a different sort of scenario, which can drive people to the edge as well. And that is because the Sun and Mercury are in Aquarius, sign of the future, and Mercury is direct now. But those two planets are squaring the Moon in Scorpio, a fixed financial sign, ruling debt, credit, loans, inheritance, insurance proceeds, and certainly taxes. And the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius are opposing Jupiter in Leo, which also is being squared by that Moon in Scorpio. So that means that with these four planets in harsh aspect to each other, that people are digging in, that they don't want to budge. They don't want to let go of the money, or they don't want to let go of their egos and calm down a little bit, or they don't want to let go of this feeling of wanting to be first, or wanting to be ahead, or wanting to invent something, or wanting their freedom at all costs. Speaking of costs, these planets in Leo and Aquarius are squaring financial sign, which means there isn't enough money around and budgets can be tight. Those things can evolve into bad news in the next week, and that can drive people close to the edge, which isn't too good. But there is a saving grace as well, and that is because there is some good news, and it is that there are actually 4 planets in the water signs which rule our emotions, and they rule healing, and they can indicate people who have very deep feelings, particularly about matters of justice, and that is because that Moon in Scorpio, which does rule justice and survival, is being trined beautifully by the planets in Pisces. Remember, they can cause a little bit of trouble to establishment figures or to authority figures, but they are actually trining that Moon. So Mars, Venus, and Neptune are trining the Moon in Scorpio. And since Pisces also rules charity and forgiveness, that is an indication that people with deep feelings can make sure that the money, remember that Moon is in Scorpio, that the money will be going, or assets that are worth a great deal of money can be going to those who have been suffering a great deal or to those who are very needy. So that's the good news. That can save people as well. And so I hope that this next week, whether you get bad news or good news, I hope you do not get a little too close to the edge, because there are 3 planets in fire signs. Jupiter is in Leo, trining Uranus in Aries, and together they are trining Saturn in Sagittarius. So the emphasis is on a lot of action right now, and if people really want to go into action and respond or react quickly to something, they could move ahead right now, but it may be in a very reckless way, and it can be that they are heedlessly going to go headlong into something, and that could drive them very close to the edge as they take a huge gamble on something, and that would not be a good idea. And the reason why is there isn't enough money to support that. And so I think that once again, people instead will be relying on deep feelings of justice that can really help others. At least that's the way I hope we go. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, this is simply a time when you can be really running up against the authority figures who do not appreciate your creative ideas and your love of wanting to do things your way. And so they may be deciding that they can live without you, Aries, or that they will crush your incentive and try to hold you back right now. You would not be comfortable with that, Aries. And so you may want to escape, because there's a lot going on in the background of your life, Aries, and that is because those 3 planets in Pisces are right behind your sun sign, causing some trouble, perhaps creating some sort of opportunity for a betrayal, and also making you kid yourself about a few things that you might be in denial about. Would you like to escape and get away from that? Well, I think you could right now, Aries, because of that grand trine in fire signs. It's just that you cannot be tempted to go over the edge right now, or to get close to some sort of edge that could be destructive for you. So you do need to pull back a little bit right now, Aries. And if I were you, I would look for something new. And that way you may be able to escape some trouble that is sort of creeping up behind you. And that is why I would try to go in that direction by communicating more with people right now, since Mercury is direct. And I do think there is something that you need to leave behind, Aries, one way or another. And I would sort of plan that first right now, and then initiate change in a few weeks when that Mars comes into your sun sign. It is your ruler, but it is going to come up against Uranus, which can indicate danger or a sudden explosion or some very sudden but uncomfortable change. That's why I would get a little bit ahead right now, Aries, and start something new, even if it is behind the scenes. That way you might be in a different place by the time the trouble really hits in a few weeks. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is when I think that you're going to be really boxed in. And the reason why is those 4 planets in fixed signs. The Sun and Mercury are squaring your Sun because they're in Aquarius, and that means that someone else wants to get ahead with their future plans, and they're not including you, Taurus, and they're probably going to do it now that Mercury is direct. And Jupiter in Leo is squaring your Sun also, which is an indication that you may have been a little too extravagant lately, and so the bills could be due. And that Moon in Scorpio is opposing your Sun, which means that the money is going to someone else. And also it can be that you are looking at some tax problems or some loan or credit problems that you will need to straighten out, because they can be illuminated by the fact that the Moon is in Scorpio now, but it is opposing your Sun, which means if you get in a financial argument right now, Taurus, I do not think you're going to win it, so I hope you don't do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time when it can be very lucky for you that the Sun and now Mercury, your own ruler, which is direct, are trining your sun sign. And that means that somebody who's got an innovative idea or may want to propose some sort of temporary project or something new and creative may want to include you in that, Gemini. And I think you should keep your ears open for something that is sort of exciting that you would like to be involved with, because I think it's out there and you could join in some sort of group or committee effort right now, and that could really stimulate you in one way or another. And I would do that because I think that you can be stuck in a somewhat untenable situation with the 3 planets in Pisces, which are squaring your Sun, and Saturn in Sagittarius, which is opposing your Sun. You too need to make a change, Gemini, and you could be looking around for something new and exciting, and it could be headed your way. So don't say no to anything right now, Gemini, because you do need to sort of stay away from the edge, and instead try to include yourself in something new rather than be involved in a harsh situation right now, which won't get any better. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, I think that it is really fortunate for you that there are 4 planets in the water signs, because the Moon, your own ruler, is in Scorpio, trining your sun sign, and Venus, Neptune, and Mars in Pisces are also trining your sun sign, which means there is the possibility that more money can be coming your way right now, or very, very soon, Cancer. And it could come through an inheritance or insurance proceeds, or simply some sort of grant or allocation that comes your way. And I think that, or it could come through a family member, which would be good for you. And also things behind the scenes that are really changing right now. Some of them are good and some of them aren't. Or even if there is some sort of betrayal happening to other people, not to you, you would tend to benefit by that in one way or another. Perhaps if someone leaves, there would be an additional opening for you. Or it can be that as things calm down in preparation for a blast off that's going to occur in a couple of weeks, when Mars and Uranus meet up in Aries, and square your sun, I think that you should try to look for calmer waters right now, Cancer, and try to instead stay with your home and stay with your family and think about winding something down rather than going over the edge instead. For anyone who's thinking of getting too close to the edge, I just want to say it's a big drop down if you do that. And that is why I'm hoping that no one does that. Even if they get bad news this week, I hope that we remain calm when that happens, because the world could be on edge as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when I don't think you're going to be able to get everything that you want, and particularly not the money. And the reason why is the moon in Scorpio is squaring your sun. Someone else does have the money, and they're sort of sitting on it right now, Leo. And so it may not be coming your way at this time. And I think that that's all right, because the Sun and Mercury are also opposing your sun sign, and Jupiter is retrograde in your sun sign. So people are digging in, Leo, but you might be digging in as well. You may be undecided right now about some long-term commitment. And certainly one of the things that could be making you undecided is the fact that you can't see how to afford it right now. And so I think that if you gave yourself a little longer time frame in order to accomplish your goals, remember Saturn in Sagittarius is trining your sun, but Saturn is a slow mover. It's going to be 2.5 to 3 years in Sagittarius. And so if you could sort of push out that timeline of when you want to achieve a goal and go a little bit slower and be a lot more committed and willing to make sacrifices and work hard, you probably could still accomplish your goals without getting too close to the edge of anything. So I think if I were you, Leo, I would lower my expectations at this time, because that can still bring you success. It'll just take a little longer. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you really do need to sort of lay low or back off and just stay by yourself. And the reason why this is a time to do that is because you don't have a nature that would go over the edge. In other words, you're somewhat cautious and you like to sort of line things up and analyze them and plan things before you do them, and also make sure that they're affordable. So you can be working along at your usual reliable pace and doing quite well, but others can be wondering about you, wondering if they should trust you. And these people are what you might call the middlemen. These people are at a level that you may not be at. And that is because Saturn in Sagittarius is squaring your sun, and the 3 planets in Pisces are all opposing their sun, your sun. So some people don't know if they can trust you or not, but then they don't know if they can trust each other either. These people are not your type, Virgo, and that is why you need to withdraw a little bit right now, because you're really in solid with authority figures. That Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun, and it will be for years. So you are doing something really right, Virgo. It's just other people are not sure about that, but I think if you boiled it all down to what the real truth is, they're not sure of themselves either. And so for now, I would just stay away from problems. And that is because I don't think you can fix anything right now. So just withdraw if you can and be patient. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when you're really lucky that the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius are trining your sun, because there can be some good news now about some rather unique opportunity for the future that can be headed your way, or someone who is rather unusual but extremely creative and very appealing. They could be sort of looking for you, Libra, and that could be fine with you as well. After all, Valentine's Day is only 2 days away. I'm not suggesting that they're necessarily looking for love. You might be, but they might not be. Instead, they could be looking for somebody who is just very nice and rather peace-loving at a time when the world is really on edge. And so you could be very appealing to others at this time, and that's all you need to be, Libra. Because there are people that can be involved with authority figures that are challenging their arrogant or their rebellious ways. And I don't think you want to have anything to do with matters that involve that. So you should just sort of try to be around other peaceful people. And if they are very creative, that could delight you as well. So look for the good. And if you see any trouble headed your way, sort of duck out right now, Libra. It doesn't need to be a part of your life. So lay low if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when I think it's very fortunate that the moon is in your sign, because it is trining the 3 planets in Pisces, and that simply means, since your sign rules justice, that even if there isn't enough money around for people to do everything, there probably is going to be enough money, since people have very strong emotions and deep emotions now about justice. It can be that people decide to allocate scarce funds to those who have been suffering or who are very needy, and you may be involved in that in one way or another, Scorpio. And so this can be a time when you can be feeling very charitable toward those who really do need it or deserve it, but you are not feeling charitable toward other people who are digging in and refuse to budge about their own point of view, in other words, about exactly what they want and having everything done their way, or people who are sort of airy and non-committal and want to be very creative, but are not really willing to come down to earth and talk about what it will all cost. So I don't think that you're willing to give your money away to a lot of people. I don't think that you're wanting to be extravagant right now, but you can have a very clear idea of who is worthy of money and justice and who is not. And you may be able to administer justice in one way or another, but in a kindly way toward those who really deserve it. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this can be a time of betrayal, or it can certainly be a time when you might be coming pretty close to the edge. And that is because there is a grand trine in fire signs. And that means that you can be getting some enthusiastic support from Uranus in Aries and from Jupiter in Leo. And somebody could be egging you on to get really close to the edge, perhaps to do something reckless, or to be heedless in one way or another, or to take a gamble. And believe me, Sagittarius, don't do it. This is a much better time for you to understand that not everyone is in your corner. The 3 planets in Pisces all square your sun, particularly Mars, which has evil intent. It's not well placed in Pisces. And so you mustn't indulge in anything that seems to be very tempting or represent some form of escapism, because you might go over the edge, and as I said, it's a real long fall to the bottom right now. So this is a time when you really need to hold back, Sagittarius, and don't indulge in any temptations. Don't go over the edge. You would deeply regret it. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think you simply need to withdraw as well and tend to things that are very important to your security. And the reason why you should be doing that right now is because there are situations in the world that can represent people who are very much on the edge. Uranus in Aries is squaring Pluto in your sun sign, so there can be unstable people around you. They are not going to change. They want to do things their way, and they would not be very respectful of the law or of established procedures and practices that preserve civilization. And so they're really not your type, Capricorn, and that's why you just need to come back and focus on small tasks that need to be done for your own security. You are good at that, and you don't skip steps. So this is a time when you need to stay away from anyone who's unstable, not engage with them at all, and instead just concentrate on what you need to do, because soon there will be a call to duty, Capricorn, and you need to get your own personal life taken care of right now, because when there is a call to duty, you will have to forego that and simply do your duty instead. And so this is the time to concentrate just on your own needs. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time with Mercury now direct in your sun sign and the sun there as well, that you can be full of creative ideas and quite willing to say everything in the right way and make a lot of contacts with people. So you'd be really good at communicating or at doing some sort of outreach right now, Aquarius, and you really need to, because other people are digging in and there isn't enough money to go around, particularly not for your creative ideas, because the moon in Scorpio is squaring the sun in your sign, which is an indication of indecision or confusion among people. It's really hard for people to make decisions right now. And that is because they're so stuck on their own viewpoint that they they can't exactly see anyone else's viewpoint instead. And Jupiter is opposing your sun sign, which means that soon there will be a separation. If it hasn't occurred already, it will. And it might be either that you're going your own way or somebody else is going to sort of give up and do what they want anyway. And so that's why I think there's going to be a separation. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, there's certainly a lot going on in your life. It could be in the background of your life, or you could feel that, you've just got a lot of problems to solve right now. So it's really lucky for you, Pisces, that the moon in Scorpio is trining your sun, because there can be a very understanding person around, perhaps a woman, who may have some financial resources that she could share with you, or that she could help you with in aid of people who are suffering or very needy. And so the charitable side of your nature could come out that way, and that would be wonderful. But you also may feel like going through some sort of betrayal. Maybe you don't like the way things are being done lately, and you may want to just sort of walk out on somebody or something. And so that's your choice, Pisces. But there is a trine from the moon in Scorpio, and that means you do have some backup somewhere. And that is why I wouldn't go over the edge right now, not when you do have some support, Pisces. Just sort of try to play it cool right now. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.